Welcome to Underdog Hoops, presented by great coaches in our basketball community. From the Underdog Hoops studio in Rancho Cucamonga, California, here is your host, Sam Farrar.
As a basketball coach, playing college and university level and coaching for 20 years?
So started out playing basketball as a young man, maybe 10, 11 years old. Fell in love with Michael Jordan, as probably most guys my age did. Didn't in this country, in Canada, which is where we're all from, hockey number one sport, but I did not fall in love with wearing skates. Not for me. So the ball, the hoop, was more my first love. Parlayed that into playing high school, then on AAU. At that time, it was called OB, Ontario Basketball. Then ended up playing in college for 3-4 years. And after I left college, much like probably most college players, played a lot of men's league and semi-competitive pro leagues with guys. Kind of parlayed that, okay, I'm getting older. Can't really do what I once did anymore, even though, mind's willing, body's not able. So said, okay, well, I'll step into coaching. Unfortunately for me, met a wonderful lady along my way in my journey with playing basketball. She was a student where I played basketball for college. We got married shortly after college. We graduated, probably 4 or 5 years, and started a family. And as probably all fathers and sons sort of do, gravitate towards, okay, the sports that you play, your kids are going to play. So I think both my boys and my daughter probably had a tight net. My wife's going to laugh, but I think we probably had one attached to the crib when they were 6-7 months old. Just sort of from there, hey, we're just going to see where this takes us. So started coaching just when my older son, who's now playing in college, was probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 years old in grade 4. Got into it knowing the game. I don't know, maybe 5, 6. And to be honest with you, I'm old, so memories are a little bit different for me than they are for what reality is. But so started coaching, and not so much serious, just like a house league, knowing the game, understanding the game, and teaching kids at that level. And then I kind of got sucked in after they got to, I think Jackson was maybe 8 or 9. I got sucked into saying, hey, do you want to be a coach on a rep team? Would you like to coach a rep team? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So stepped into that, and then I just never really stepped out. I'm going on probably, my older son's 20 now, so probably going on 15, 20 years of coaching, boys and girls. When my daughter came along, same thing with my boys, my older boy and my younger boy, who's sitting in the car, basically very embarrassed right now that I'm on the phone talking about it. But sort of gravitate, same thing. They got a Nerf hoop and the, little Tykes hoop in their crib when they were younger. And from there, sort of, here's my love of the game. Here's what I know. And as all teenage boys, as they get older, just like, well, now I know more than you, right? Like they know more than I do. So he's in the background going, because I do. Taking what I've learned from the game. And again, a big thing around coaching is, you got to learn every day. And I'll be the first one to say, although I'll never say it, but I'll hear it in the car. I learned as much from the players as the players learned from me. It obviously is a humbling experience. It's as much about me and learning and teaching the kids as it's about the kids teaching me. I'm a bit of a hard ass, more so with my kids than others, but at the same time, like I think unless they tell me something different, 2 of them are in the back seat right now, I think they have fun still. There's always something, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. Fortunately, today we won 2 wins, so there's not much to teach. But in the car, I've already heard a couple of comments about we got to work on this on practice come Monday next week. So that's kind of where it started and where it is now. I'm not really finished up coaching yet. I'm still coaching, a U19 boys team and a U15 girls team. We'll take those 2 teams through this summer, and sort of see where it lands as we start back up next year. My younger son back here in the middle of the car has some decisions to make with playing at the next level, university or college, but we're pretty sure he's going to go back for his grade 13 in Canada, which will put him as 18 years old for the state. So that's kind of my journey as we stand right now and where we're at. Very proud of the boys, right? Teams that I've coached over the last 5-10 years, we've done well during regular season, and we're from a small town in Canada called Woodstock, and this the team last year, very very strong team, competed at the highest level in Ontario, got to the provincial championships and lost out, but. When your town only has 30,000 people and you're competing against cities with 1.4 and 2 million,
Yeah.
like I said, that's as much about them as it is about me, and I'd argue it's more about them than it is about me. So,
Cool. Um, I mean, you've coached various different levels. What's the biggest difference between each age group? Kind of, you could talk about the boys' side and the girls' side, just the differences that are with both of them.
so I will say with boys, fundamentals when they're younger is a main principle. They, I would say with boys and girls, fundamentals as they're younger is a main principle. If you don't get that stuff down when you're young, it's harder to learn it when you're older. I'm not saying you can't, it just becomes harder. Zone defense, man to man defense, that is all stuff that you really shouldn't be introducing to kids when they get to 13, 14. I get drilled a lot by my own team that we play too much zone, but that's because there's a time and a place to play that. When you talk about girls, the one thing with girls is, and I'll say this, just know they're better listeners. They are
Oh
better
yeah,
listeners at a young
yeah,
age. They're just better listeners than boys are. Boys have the attention span of like that dog from the movie Up. Like they don't, they just want to play and they just want to go. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
You need to curtail that energy and focus it in the right manner. I've been very blessed on the teams that I've had for boys over the last couple of years that we've got some, or I've had some really strong leaders and really strong players. And it makes it easy to do that stuff. At the same time, everything always boils back down to fundamentals. When you talk about the older kids at older ages, 18, 19, as they get to 20 and they're going to college, fundamentals is what separate good players from great players.
Yep.
I don't think, as my own personal opinion, you can never focus too much on fundamentals because at the end of the game, that's what the game's all about. Um, Girls, they're listening, as I alluded to, far superior than boys. But then there's a dynamic flip. At around 14 years old, 15 years old, the boys become better listeners, and the girls, not so much. They
Yep.
and you lose players along the way. Girls, we see, at least in Canada, we see girls sort of gravitate away from the sport when they get to 14 or 15, just because they're focused, they're a little bit focused on other priorities at that point. Whereas boys, different story, right? Basketball in this country is the fastest growing sport there is, and boys are not turning away. They're all in at this point, and they want to play more and more and more. So I'm fortunate. I've got a good, strong young girls team. Uh, I've had a core group of about 7 since grade 5, grade 6, and now they're all in grade 9. So 3-4 years of development, and it's the same core group of girls that keep coming back every year.
That's awesome. Um, what's kind of one of the most rewarding things you've experienced as a coach so far?
Well, there's a couple, but playing with my boys and my daughter, I won't lie.
That's awesome. Okay, kind of the next kind of round of questions will be kind of running around culture and like running a program or kind of that stuff. So what are some cornerstone or what's your cornerstone for your coaching philosophy in terms of building a team culture?
So, when you start and they're younger, it's got to be fun. I'm sorry, I'm just backing in my driveway here, so give me a second.
Yeah,
When
you're all
you
right.
start, yeah, we're good. I'm backing up, so give me one quick sec. When you start, it's all about fun and fundamentals, right? That's a big principle when they're younger, because if the game isn't fun, what you see a lot is they drop out pretty quick.
Hmm.
Um, you know, that's big for me when you're a younger age. Um, as they get older, um, you know, I'm I'm a little bit different. I know a lot of coaches focused on defense and defensive philosophies. Um, I defense and defensive philosophies depend a lot on the talent of player that you have, the athleticism of the team that you've got. what you've got to work with. And I don't think, given that we're from a small town and there's only so much of that to go around, it's great, but I don't have a Kevin Durant, and I don't have a Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Those guys are tough to come by, and they don't grow on trees, especially here in this country. So the things that as we get older, and you do get some good kids, and I've got some. Fortunately, I've put a couple, between 5 and 10 kids over the last 3-4 years into university, into college to play at the next level. Because you've got a couple that always stand out, and when you're a smaller town, you have to use a different principle to compete. And one of the principles I have is pace. Right, we play every time we step on the floor. You might not be the most skilled, but you can you can outrun, and you can outwork other teams. And sometimes, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And you can really live and sort of adopt that philosophy, regardless of if you're a small town coach or a large town coach. You can really adopt, hey, look, if I'm willing to push the pace and I can get up 65 shots in a game, all I got to do is hit 40% of those shots, and I'm in the 75, 80 point per game range. I play okay defense, and I'm going to be in most games. And when you live by that philosophy, you're going to win more games. It doesn't mean you're better or more talented than other teams. That's not the case. But it does mean that there's more opportunity. And when you're playing that style of game, I liken it back to when the Lakers ran back in the 79, 80 series, when you had Coach Kubchak, and then he went over to Loyola, and they played that just fast, go, run game. And the object is to get 100 shots up in a game. And you don't have to be good to get 100 shots a game. They can be bad shots. But if you're hitting 30, 40% of those shots, you're going to get 80 points, 85, 70 points a game. And you don't have to play great defense. That number, the points per game number, will get you in the game. I say all the time to kids that don't, like, my son argues with me about defense, and I say all the time, Will, I've never seen a basketball game end 2-0 because of the great defense. Like, you can play great defense, don't get me wrong, but that's not what wins games. I know coaches philosophize a lot about defense, but really now the game, and you've seen it sort of converse from where it was in the late 80s with the Pistons, now to the 90s with Jordan and that group, now to the 2000s with Kobe and Shaq, to now with the Golden State and where we are now. It's about pace and shots, and the three has really changed the nature of the game. Like, coaches are using analytics now, even at my level, at the amateur level, to be like, if I put up 25, 30 threes a game and I hit 15 of them, I'm going to get 60 points out of the deal. So like, it's all about that analytic and that pace. And I'm a big proponent of that. I don't have to be the most skilled to step on the floor. I've just got to outwork you and outscore you. And if I'm playing with pace, and a lot of the training that we do here, like I do with the kids in town here, is all about running. And you're not running without purpose. You're running with purpose. You're running the spots on the floor to get open looks. You're running with purpose to fill and create a gap in the rotation where a guy can cut through and make that layup or make that extra pass. I mean, we played today with 9 kids. 2 of the kids really not great basketball players, but in one game we were at 83, and the other game we were at 78, and we both won both games by 15 and 17. Not that we're a better team. I got a couple of really good players on my team, but you got to stay pace with us. And the girls, I've got on my girls team that I coach, the U15 team, I've got 3 girls. They are track stars. They're not basketball players. They can dribble and they can shoot a little bit, but they can run, and they will full court press you the whole game, and they don't get tired. Like, they don't get to. I can play them 40 minutes, and it's the same from start to the end because they train for track, not for basketball. And it just sort of, that dual sport sort of caveats over into what my philosophy is.
Exactly. I like what you said. You kind of something that I've experienced as a coach, just kind of the confidence issue when they miss a few shots in a row. And it's like, yeah, but if you hit 15 threes, you're
Don't
gonna
care.
don't care.
Don't
Keep
care.
shooting.
Next one up. Don't care. Now, there's a time and a place, and and I got a kid that just started with me this year. He's really hoping to latch on with a college next year here in town. And I got there's a time and a place. When you're up by 15 or 20, there's 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go in the game. It's take your foot off the gas. It's slow everything right down, because now it's possession management. I don't need to get shots up. And to be honest with you, I don't care if I get shots up. If I take a shot clock violation in a 3-minute possession game, there's only, I'm assuming you guys are in the States. You don't play with
Yeah.
shot clocks yet? Yeah, we play with a 24-second shot clock.
We play with a 35.
Yeah, so 24, I don't need to get shots up with 3 minutes to go in the
Exactly.
game. All I got to do is hold the ball. I can hold the ball 6 times. There's no time left on the clock. I can take my 24-second shot clock and give you the ball back. There's not enough possessions for you to get back in the game. So you got to, teach. And one things I say today, and I've said a bunch of times, when you get under the 4-minute mark, basketball is as much about mental toughness and mental fortitude and understanding the game and where you're at in the game as it is about how skilled you are. Like, you don't need, when you're up by 10, 12, and there's 3 minutes to go, you don't need to run. You don't walk the ball at the floor, run your stuff, get down to 7 or 8, do whatever you want. I don't care. Dribble the ball out. You don't need to run, because time and possession is what matters at that point, not scoring.
Yep. One of the things that, like, I'll find is, hey, if we slow a team down that's fast paced, then we might kill their momentum. That's kind of why it's like you got to be able to run your sets, and you also got to be able to go fast.
Yeah, change your pace, right? Change your pace, switch it up. Like, that's, we talked about, you mentioned earlier what's some of your defense. My son hates playing zone. Can't stand it. Hates it. He does not, like, he's, Dad, you're not helping guys to play at the next level. They'll never play zone at the next level. You got to teach them how to play man-to-man. And he's right. He's absolutely, if you want to play college or university, you better be able to guard the ball. Like, you better be able to guard the ball. And he's absolutely right. But there's a time and a place just to give a team a different look, to have them, oh, shit, they're playing a 1-3-1. Oh, shit, it's a 3-2. Oh, shit, it's a 2-3. Like, just a different look, something else that makes them have to think. Take 4 more seconds, 5 more seconds off the shot clock. 24 seconds isn't a lot of time. And
no, it's
if
not.
you got to think about it, a lot longer, then, that's time that's on my side now, not on yours.
Yeah. So a successful program, how do you structure your season to be as successful as you can in that
So
season?
our club, Oxford Attack in Woodstock, Ontario, Canada, there's a couple of rules that we live by. One is we do not interfere with high school season. High school season is paramount, for players' development. Now, much like in the States, a lot of kids now have gone prep, or they go to prep school. My son, both of my sons, have played prep in years past. We can get into that conversation later, no problem. But we don't interfere with high school season. So what I do, we start in September, we finish in June, and then June 15th, basically at 2 weeks off. June 15th, we start up our summer program for boys and girls, and we go from there. From September until about March, it's, you're in the gym 1 day a week, maybe 2, a lot of conditioning, a lot of stuff around repetition and skill development, mostly conditioning, though, I won't lie, which helps you for your high school season.
Yep.
It's not mandatory because, you don't want to put the strains of a student athlete. And I use the term student athlete first. You've got school to work on. You ain't going anywhere if you can't graduate high school. So you could be Michael Jordan. If you can't spell Michael Jordan, you're not going into any college or university. So big focus on academics. We'll schedule a couple of games, I think, this year before this. Today is our first game of the season. So before, I think we've played 12 games, exhibition games, before our first game of the season. And they're sprinkled in over 5-6 months. So no rigorous thing. If the boys have a high school game or a high school tournament that weekend, we're not playing, right? We'll do 1 day a week if the boys got a high school game through the week. If they don't, we'll do 2 days a week. Kids don't have to come to the gym to do the gym. They can come and bring homework and then finish their homework and get up some free throws. Like, gym's open from 6 o'clock until 10 o'clock. And then I shut it down and we all go home. So, the season starts rather early. We get an understanding of what is expected for the graduating seniors. And I've got four kids all looking to play university or college ball at the next level. So we push them as hard as we can. We get as much out of them. At the same time, we're always talking to them about working on this. And I'm a big proponent. I never had, coaches that brought me and said, this is the drill or did this. A lot of that work, and when you really talk about players' development, a lot of that work is stuff you got to do on your own. Like, you got to put in the work on your own. Like, I'm in the gym and I'll help you and tell you what you got to work on. But the reality is, if you really want to be that player and play at the next level, it's not happening in the gym with an hour and a half twice a week. It's happening in the park. It's happening on your net at home. It's happening, at the pickup runs in the park. It's happening, the conditioning and the work. That's on your own stuff. That's not stuff I don't need. And, the one thing I say to all players, and I had a big conversation with two kids today, I can't teach you effort. That's not a skill that I can develop. I can try to motivate you. I can give you encouraging Rudy Rudiger speeches, but I can't teach you effort. That's either you're a dog and you're in the fight and you want the bone more than the other dog, or you're not. And, for kids that want to play at the next level, I don't care if you're Joico, D1, University of Toronto here, Lambton College, which is where my older son goes, right? The hungry dog gets the bone. Like, and if you're not going to do the work, there's other kids that are going to do the work instead of you. And coaches are going to look at them before they look at you. You can be the most talented player in the world, but when you're a freshman coming in, everybody's talented. It's what do you separate yourself? And for a lot of kids, when they get to that stage, you got to have that dog in you. You got to have that work ethic. You got to have, I'm gonna be the guy that dives on the floor for the loose ball. I'm gonna be the guy that boxes out 3-4 people. I'm gonna be the guy that sets that screen that frees the shooter, because those are effort plays. Those aren't talent or skill. And it's tough because for a lot of kids, they're the best high school player on their team. Then they get a rude awakening when they play for a really strong club or a really strong AAU team. Where do you find the niche? What can you do to get, because there's always someone better. I say it all the time. You may be really, really good. There's always someone better. There's always somebody that's put more work in than you that's gotten better. So what are you going to do to be better than the next guy? The weather's just nice getting here now. So within another 2 weeks here, I guarantee you, like, I don't know if you can see, how do you flip this camera here? I got my basketball net up here right now. Just came out. We don't have snow anymore. You give me 2 weeks, and there'll be about 20 kids on my lawn shooting hoops. So effort separates everything, and it's which is that kid that's going to give you something extra. You don't have to be, and I say, I got a great young man on my team right now. At best, and I give you at best, he's 5'3". He weighs, I'm no word of a lie, he weighs maybe 110 pounds. Coach, how can I get better? What do I need to do to get more minutes? And I tell him, listen, man, God didn't bless you with being 7'1", and he didn't bless you with a bench press of 250. So you got to go out there every time you step on the floor. If it's 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you got to be the dog that picks that guy up full court and guards 90 feet. Because I don't need you to score on my team, and I don't need you to rebound. But you can play defense on the toughest SOB on the other side of the floor. And that's nothing but effort. And then the other thing I tell them is, whether you're 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 12 minutes, you got 5 fouls. They don't carry over to the next game. You don't get to, next game I get 8 fouls. So you get beat. You make sure that guy knows, hey, man, you're not getting anything free off of me. You're not getting free baskets from me. I'm going to make you work, both at the free throw line and the 90 feet between the baskets. And kids, and I say this with all due respect to all parents, kids get told a lot of bullshit from mom and dad. A lot of you, mom and dad tell kids, you're the greatest. You're
Yep.
so good. You look at what you did, little Johnny. You're the best player. Look at you. You're so good. And kids need to. Humble pie is not a bad dish. Humble pie lets you know where you stand in the pecking order. There's too many kids that I see, mom and dad, and again, I coach. We come down to the States with my summer teams. We come down and we go to Boston to the Hall of Fame game. We played in that last year and won it. We go down and we play in Ohio in the Nike tournament where we make it to the semis and the quarters, right? We lose out. Again, we're a small team. Some kid shows up. He's got a 6'11" kid with, he's got a 40-inch vertical and he weighs 290 pounds. I don't have a guy match up. Hell, I don't match up with that right now. I'm 6'4" and 280, and I still don't match up with that guy. So, we go down and we compete. But I say you can compete with just effort. And moms and dads tell those young kids far too often when they're younger that you're going pro. You're going pro. You don't worry. You're the man. Look at you. You dropped 28 in an amateur game. Yeah, you dropped 28. You didn't pass the ball once. You took 56 shots and you got 28 points. Little Jimmy, you're amazing. You're amazing. Stop playing 2K and realize that there's 4 other guys on the floor with you. You got to be a cohesive unit to make plays, And I say this, my goal as a coach is not, first off, is to instill the values that I have as a coach in young men and young women, right? Work hard, come to work every day, get up, do the little things the right way, tie your shoes, put your shoes on. In today's world, it's tough because some of the stuff you say as an elder person like myself, I still say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, right? Now, with all this, that's a he or a she or a they or whatever. That's how I was raised. I wasn't raised when an older gentleman says, hey, yes, sir, I'm glad. No problem, sir. Let me get the door for you, sir. Here you go, man. Let me help you to your car. Now, that may be offensive to some people. That's just the way I was raised. And I tend not to. I tried to instill those same values into the young men and women that I coach. That being said, when you go to work and whether or not you're playing basketball, whether or not you're flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, your job, whatever it may be, if you're a car salesman, if you're a doctor, you're a dentist, the expectation is you show up on time. And I have a rule. If you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late, right? If a practice starts at 9:00, if you're 5 minutes early, you're already 10 minutes late. At 9:00, if you're putting your shoes and shit on, that's too early. My daughter's, what's wrong, honey?
I'm looking for my keys.
I don't have your keys, honey. So, again, those. I got a phone.
Hi.
Hi. Kids. So those philosophies around the teachings of that's beyond basketball. That's bigger than basketball. That's when you go to work. I go to work every morning 4:30. I come home at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. As soon as I get home, I grab a quick bite to eat, and then I'm off to the gym, right? And instilling those values in young people. My wife's going to leave, so my car's going to turn off here. Oh, never mind. I'll just turn the car off. She's getting out and go inside the house. So instilling those values in young people is tough because I don't think. Are you going in? It's not. You go ahead and look. I don't think enough people are truthful with our young people. I think far too often than not, they tell them what they want to hear versus what they need to hear. And that's not, it's not a shot at parents. I was myself raised by a single mother. Didn't have a dad that was around. Raised by my single mom and my grandparents. Didn't have a dad around, but my mom got up. My grandparents worked the farm, got up every day, 4:00 out there pitching hay with the cows. My mom worked as an engineer at a beer factory in Molson Coors, Canada. So those values around hard work took me, like I said, it's one of the, when I played in college, I was a nasty bastard. Won't lie. I was that Charles Barkley guy. Like, I'm going to set a screen on you. You're going to feel it. I'm going to hit you. But at the end of the game, and there's a couple of teams that, hey, man, you're one of the hardest players of all time I've ever played against. Let's go grab a beer after the game. I'm 19, 21 years old in Canada. It's legal age. teammate that I just got, or team that I just gotten, all out fisticuffs with, like fighting tooth and nail to get a win. We're having beer and chicken wings and talking about the NBA. And so that hard work and that dedication between, players growing up, it's lost in this generation. Everything is granted, is given in this generation, right? I see a lot of the rankings for young players coming out, and I don't get me wrong. They're players that are coming like Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey and these kids. They are absolutely they're amazing, like truly amazing. But I'm a big proponent. And yes, you're going to the NBA, and yes, you're going to be a pro, and you're making millions of dollars. But the reality is around players, there's only one or two of those kids. There's only a couple of those kids. So my focus is instilling core values that I believe in young people, and then trying to help the young people that want to play at the next level get to the next level, and be able to participate and contribute. Now, for some kids, it's just getting on a team. I made it to a college team. I'm not good enough, but I'm an AP. I'm a practice player. I'm going to be a practice player for my whole career. But I set out for a goal for myself to be on a team, and I'm on a team. I'm part of a team. I may play 5 minutes in my whole career, but I set out to accomplish my goal, and that was play on a college team or university team. I did that, and that's enough, because that's kind of what it's all about, right? Like that's kind of what not every kid is going to turn pro. Not every kid is going to be, the superstar or the amazing player. Sometimes just getting there and getting to a college team is enough. What you take away when you leave our program, or the values instilled or help to instill from us, as much as we instill them. My hope is that your parents instill them as well, and they believe the same thing. And you can take those things carry on. They're life lessons. They don't just because you're done playing college basketball or high school basketball, those lessons stay with you forever. They don't leave you as soon as you leave, right? So working to get something, that's kind of what it's all about, right? And that's what you're hoping to instill in young people moving forward. Because again, far too often than not, there's silver spoons in everybody's mouth, and they're told from day one, "You're so good, you're going to be that guy," and you're really not. So education for me in our household, all three of my kids, big push for all of them to play at university and college at the next level, because that's what I did. Fortunately, I have one that's already there. The second one has already gotten a bunch of his offers. He's going back for another year of high school, and my daughter is moving up along the way. So they should all have their opportunities. But again, it's not about playing basketball. It's about the opportunity. It's about, that scene, living that sort of dream out, getting those experiences at college, like I remember, because I to be very honest, the college experience for me, playing 3-4 years of college, it's not about the playing that I remember. It's the after the games, hanging out with the team, going for food, going to the bar, picking up chicks, that's how I picked up my wife. So those are the things that you remember. And for me, I want all my players, I want my own kids too, but I want them to experience that, because it is something special. It's something that you take with you when you leave. And I hope that the boys and the girls that play for me for their high school career, they enjoy the experience, and they take some of those core values with them when they leave.